hand side. Watch your hands on your feet. Doors will be sliding closed.
Doors closed and you're up there.
That's not the Sauna Water Street, thank you. So here in Romeo, like say twin day, that means let's go. Well, Jumbo, everybody, my name is Austin. I'll be a safari guide here at Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Before we get started, I'll ask for a few things from y'all. Please make sure to keep your hands on your feet inside the vehicle at all times. For your safety, please remain seated through the entire safari. If y'all have any children in your lap, please get in your lap or in the seat next to you. Please don't raise them up in there like you were feeding the Lion King. And also around here, please do not call out towards any animals or guests in their homes. Be super respectful to them. Other than that, we'll be having a lot of fun, so let's get this thing started, y'all. The first place we're headed into right now is a little Turning Forest. A lot of animals here. We use our natural camouflage out of these dense bushes of vegetation, so some could be hidden. We're keeping out for those guys. But over to your right hand side, you're going to see a beautiful okapi. They do have zebra strap-like legs, but they're in fact the only living relative to the giraffe. They have those long prehensile tongues like giraffe that will grab onto those leaves and bushes. They're able to rip them right off. They will also use those long tongues to help clean their ears and eyes out when they need to. To your left side, that large black and white bird is a saddle-billed stork. They're one of the tallest species of stork in Africa. They are around 5 feet tall, fully grown, with an average wingspan about 9 feet in length. And they're also one of the very few birds that don't have vocal cords, so they need to communicate with each other by rattling those big long beaks. You'll be able to see another one coming up on your right side. So to your right hand side is an orange and white striped animal that is a bongo. Bongos have the nickname the ghost of the forest because they like to hide a lot in these bushes and sometimes can be a little bit difficult to find. And then to your left side, a deer-like looking animal that is the greater kudu. They are the second tallest species of antelope on the reserve. So we're going to head on over to the Safi River now. Many hippos are on the frequent. So we're going to see if we have to spot any of them. Now sometimes hippos can be a little bit difficult to spot because they do spend a majority of their day submerged underneath the water to protect themselves from overheating. They can hold their breath for around 8 minutes at a time. And they can also sleep underneath the water if they come for air all their own without waking up. Typically hippos, they do love to hang out in groups. Their group of hippos is known as a bloat. That's what they actually used to call me in high school. Very fortunate. So we're about to get a really great view of a hippo on your right hand side coming up. But also on your right hand side, you can see there's some large pelicans or pink-backed pelicans. They get that name for the way their colors or feathers change during mating season. They'll change from this grayish white color to a very vibrant pink. I get a great view of that guy there to your right side. Hippos, they aren't the best swimmers in the world, so they do prefer to use their natural buoyancy to walk around the bottom of the water. That's why whenever you look for them, sometimes you have to look for dark shadow around or bubbles coming up. Those are going to be a couple signs there, down there somewhere. These Nile hippos are the third largest animal in the reserve. They have around 5,500 pounds at fully grown, and they weigh anywhere from 80 to 110 pounds at birth. They can move pretty quick for that size. On land, hippos can run about 30 miles per hour, and underneath the water, they can run about 15 miles per hour. They do eat quite a bit of food as well. Hippos eat anywhere from 80 to 90 pounds of veggies per day, so they do have a pretty great, well-balanced diet. So we're going to head over Croc Bridge, where we're seeing an animal very much to your left-hand side, the Nile crocodile. The Nile crocodile, they are the largest of the freshwater crocodilians. They are around 500 pounds of fully grown, and they reach about 16 feet in length, so they're over half the length of this trunk. Sometimes you're going to see those guys sunbathing out there, their mouth wide open. Now what they're doing when they do that is they are releasing some excess body heat. Nile crocodiles can actually go a couple months without eating. That is typically because they eat about half their body size in one sitting. I do the same thing when I go a couple hours. So before we head on to the savannah, on your right side, you can see a large leafless tree. This is a baobab tree. It's also known as an upside down tree because the top of it looks like roots growing out. And it also has the nickname the tree of life. It does spend about 9 months out of the year leafless and retain all the water inside the trunk. Elephants have actually been known to pierce the trunks of the baobab trees with their tusks to extract that water out. They have a hard time finding some without the drought seasons. And baobab trees can live for over 1,000 years. But we are going to be heading on to the savannah now. We have many different free-roam migrating animals, so you never know exactly where all of them are going to be at. So the first animal to your right hand side, those small white-tailed antelopes are springboks. They get their name for the leaping like action they do while they're running. They can leap forward around 13 feet, about 7 feet to the air. Springboks are also the top 5 fastest land mammals. They do reach speeds anywhere from 40 to 50 miles per hour. There's also going to be those Hartman Mountain zebras there to your right hand side, including a couple of our babies. They are one of 3 species of zebras. Those stripes of theirs are a lot like human fingerprints. Each unique tone, 2 are exactly the same, but the patterns do depend on the species. Many people wonder about them if they are all white with black stripes, or if they're all black with white stripes. That does depend on the species as well. Like these Hartman Mountain zebras are all black with white stripes. You can tell that by the starting color, the tip of their nose, and the bottom of the ankles are black, which is sign of primary color. One of my favorite facts about the zebra is that a group of them is known as a dazzle. Sounds pretty fabulous. A little razzle dazzle. So it looks like in just a moment on your left side, inside this den, there's going to be some African painted dogs, also known as African wild dogs. They do get the name painted dog from the messy, spotty coat that they have. They might resemble most domesticated canines, but they do have some slight differences, like they have 4 toes instead of 5. And they don't bark like most canines do, they make more of a squealing sound. Painted dogs are some extremely great hunters. They're actually the most successful hunters in Africa with an 80 to 90% success rate in catching their prey. Also over here on your left hand side, those white brown antelopes are some sables. They are the official emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Preserve. They have those large curve-shaped horns that they're about 5 feet in length. And they use those horns to protect their back from their predators like lions from jumping up and give them a little bit of surprise. Now the very, very large antelope right there is a Patterson eland. They're one of the largest of antelopes. They have around 6 feet tall from foot to shoulder. And those male elands have around 2,000 pounds if fully grown. And of course, there's some wildebeest here to your left side. Wildebeest in Afrikaans actually translates to wild beast. The locals here get that name. They thought the face wildebeest was pretty scary and terrifying looking. And we're going to have a really great view of the Maasai giraffe come up to your left-hand side. They're named after the Maasai tribe of Africa. Giraffes, of course, are the tallest animal in the world. They're around 20 feet tall, fully grown, around 6 feet at birth. They have those long prehensile tongues that they use to reach the trees and grab their food out. A giraffe tongue out about 18 inches in length. And they will also use those long necks as well to reach up to the trees. Not a lot of people know that giraffes have the exact same neck bones that humans do. They have some vertebrae just like us. Theirs are just obviously a whole lot longer. Each vertebrae is around 10 inches long. One of the things the giraffe and I share in common is our favorite activity is eating. They do spend around 20 hours a day eating, and they only sleep about 30 minutes a day on average. Giraffes will sleep standing up too. They don't lay down. It makes them feel very vulnerable predators. It's definitely more common to see them laying down here in our reserve than anywhere out there in the wild. Along with sleeping standing up, giraffes will also get birth standing up. So that's a far 6-foot drop for that baby. And typically within 15 to 30 minutes after birth, those babies are up walking and running. That does help them learn to be able to avoid and escape any predators they encounter. And giraffes can use those long legs to run about 30 miles per hour. That's just for a short period of time. They have been known to jog around 10 miles per hour for longer distances if it's necessary. They do have 4 compartments in their stomach. They basically turn it into 4 stomachs that helps them with the 20 hours of eating. And whenever it comes to them sleeping 30 minutes a day, giraffes won't sleep 30 minutes altogether. They'll sleep in little naps throughout the day. Now, if you look at this patch of trees to your right-hand side, you might see some very, very large horns sticking out of there. There's some Ankole cattle there in those trees. The Ankole cattle is one of 2 domesticated animals live on the reserve. Those large horns of theirs reach about 5 to 6 feet in length, and they use them as a self-cooling system on the inside of them. They have a honeycomb shape that allows blood vessels to flow through to let some excess body escape on out of there. Now as we move closer to this area, you're going to notice there's quite a few trees down. That means we're working our way some elephant territory. So we're going to see if we're able to find those elephants if we can. That beautiful male African elephant to your right side. Let's see if we can get a better view up ahead. By the way, you can tell this is a male because he is relatively solitary. Elephants are very, very sociable animals, and they travel often in packs with their family. But at a certain age, around the teenage years, those males, they leave their family so they can venture off their own, or they'll go join a bachelor group. Elephants don't actually reach adulthood until they're about 16 years old. You might notice some elephants, they look a little bit dirty. That's because they have very sensitive skin. So what they like to do is throw some dirt, sand, clay, mud, whatever they can use as a match up a sunblock. That's why you can find them hiding out sometimes in the very, very heavy rainstorms. Because those rain pellets can actually hurt and sting their skin. And whenever you see them flopping those big old ears of theirs, what they're doing is cooling themselves down. Elephants do have blood vessels in the ear. So when they flap them, the cool air will go over the blood vessels, lower their body temperature. They can lower by as much as 15 degrees. So we're about to pass through some red clay pits, and as we pass through, you'll notice on your right side some elephant tusk marks beside the clay. They show up the same spot every day. It's pretty crazy. On average, an elephant, they eat around 300 pounds of food each day. They drink around 32 gallons of water each day. But with all that food, they do miss out some key nutrients. So what they like to do is eat some of that red clay back there to act as like a multivitamin, something that you and I would take, so that it replenish those vital minerals and nutrients they're missing out on or to survive. Looks like we'll get a really good view of some more elephants here in just a moment. Of course, the African elephant is the largest animal in the reserve. They are also the largest land mammal in the world. They average anywhere from 8,000 to 14,000 pounds of fully grown. They'll weigh anywhere from 200 to 300 pounds at birth. Those female elephants, they're pregnant for around 22 months or about 2 years. And typically a pack of elephants is led by an alpha female called the matriarch. There's going to be our youngest elephant out there. She is only 9 months old. Like I said, they don't reach adulthood until around 16 years old, so she's got quite a while to go. You can see that mud pit to your left-hand side. That's what the elephants will use to throw their skin to help protect it, or they roll around in it, coat their skin up so it's cooled off on hot days like today. They'll throw that mud on themselves by using those big old trunks of theirs. Elephants do have over 100,000 muscles in the trunk alone, which allows them to lift up several hundred pounds of it. And they can hold the 5 gallons of water inside the trunk as well. So, just a moment on your left side, we're going to see this group of gray flamingos, also known as flamboyants. Another very famous sounding name. A gray flamingo is a large flamingo species, around 5 feet tall, fully grown. At birth, they have gray feathers. You should actually be able to see some younger ones out there with gray feathers still on them. And throughout their life, they eat brine shrimp, which has keratin in it, which is a pigment that will change the color of their feathers from gray to the pink color you're going to see over there. Along with them being the largest species of flamingos, they're also the lightest color pink of them all. We aren't very sure how these ducks are getting here in Africa. It's one of the invasive species to deal with. So we're going to move it a little bit further here to the reserve so you can spot any more animals we're able to. Looks like we're actually going to see one of my favorite animals in the reserve. Coming up on your left-hand side, we're going to see some southern white rhinos, one of the 5 species of rhinos that are left in the world. They believe that they get their name from the white color skin complexion they have, but they're actually the same color skin tone as a black rhino. How they actually get their name is from the Afrikaner word "vite," which means wine, with the wide lip mouth they have. The locals here got that name. But when the Dutch settlers came over, they had a miscommunication due to language barrier differences. So whenever the locals were saying the word "vite," the Dutch were hearing the word "white," so they went ahead to the white rhino. The southern white rhino is one of the only species of rhinos to not be on the endangered species list, with over 20,000 out there in the wild right now. Unfortunately, they are hunted for the horns, which are made of keratin, the same stuff our fingernails are made above. Some people believe the keratin in the horns hold some medical or medicinal purposes, but science showing it holds no visual factors towards humans. You see that mud bed there to your left side that they roll around in and coat your skin, just like elephants do the same thing. Just like elephants, rhinos also have sensitive skin. And they blush you. And they are also the second largest animal here in the reserve, around 6,000 pounds of fully grown. Now there is going to be a cheetah at the very bottom left-hand corner to your left-hand side. There's another one laying down that shaded tree area. Something greatest view. We might get a better view some more up ahead. But cheetahs, of course, are the fastest land animal in the world, reaching speeds of 60 miles per hour in 3 seconds. But they can only maintain that speed for a few hundred yards, about 5-6 seconds. They are made for long-distance running. They do have these black lines run from the bottom of their eye all the way down to the mouth, which are called tear marks. Unlike most big cats, cheetahs, they hunt during the day. So what the tear marks do is absorb the sun of the hunting so they can see better. Just like you see football players and athletes wearing that black eyeliner on their face, it works the exact same way. And a lot of people don't know that cheetahs get bullied often by quite a few different animals like elephants, lions, hyenas, jaguars. In fact, around 10% of cheetah catches, they get stolen by other predators. So cheetahs do live quite a tough life out there in the wild. But it looks like I see somebody that doesn't live a very tough life out in the wild. There's going to be a male lion coming on your left-hand side in just a moment over these country rocks. Male lions, of course, have those very beautiful manes of theirs. The older they get, the darker in color the mane will become, and the larger it becomes. Lions are nocturnal animals, so they are most active at night and do majority of their hunting at night. They'll sleep anywhere from 16 to 18 hours each day. Lions actually sleep so much that they are awake for a combined of 3 years in life. The female lions are the predominant hunters of the pride. So while females are out hunting, the males will sit back and guard territory, protecting the cubs that they have. You're going to see a water buck there to your right-hand side. They do get the name water buck because that is where they're found often living, is by large bodies of water, because that is their main source of minerals or nutrients. It's also their main source of protection as well. Now during the day, a lion's eyesight is equivalent to humans, but at night it's about 6 to 7 times greater than ours, which does help them become very, very effective nighttime hunters. Lions are actually one of the only species of big cats to gather in prides. Usually other big cats are relatively solitary. Some of those prides can actually hold up to around 50 lions in them. So to your left side, we might find some warthogs. Sometimes they blend in with the large rocks and logs, but you definitely notice those burrows of theirs. Warthogs are the largest burrowing animal in Africa. They use a tusk at the end of their snout, along with snout and hoof, to dig on big old burrows. Warthogs can be a little aggressive for their size. They have actually been known to back off lions before. So they can be small but vicious, kind of like my daughter. You'll see some ostrich eggs to your right side. Ostriches do the largest bird egg in the world, weighing anywhere from 3 to 4 pounds. Their eggshell's around 1/4 inch thick, so it's very thick and durable. The average person can't send those eggs and not create any type of damage to them. We're just about done with our safari. Before we get done, we're going inside one more place. We're going to go inside the Bugatti, where the Warden's outpost is. And as we come around the Warden's outpost on the left-hand side, we're going to be able to see some Nigerian dwarf goats out here. Even though some of these goats look like babies, they're all fully grown adults. The playful behavior we see from Nigerian dwarf goats, like jumping, climbing, headbutting, all that fun playful action. It does have to mature physically as they grow older. It also has to assert dominance for the uber the goats. Along with the Ankoli cattle that I mentioned earlier, the Nigerian dwarf goat is the second domesticated animal that lives in the reserve. And if we do have any sports fans on board, the only relative to these goats is Tom Brady. Now, Steve Irwin once said, "We don't own planet Earth, but belong to it and must share with our wildlife." From domesticating the wild, conservation is super critical to the future of our planet, and without the help of future generations won't be able to enjoy the same wildlife we get to today. Big or small, any type of action matters, whether it's volunteering with a local conservation group, doing some recycling or water serving at home, or simply donating 1 cent to the Disney Conservation Fund. Literally, any action plays an impact for a better future. Now, to quote Walt Disney, conservation isn't just the business of a few people, it's a matter that concerns all of us. So please, ladies and gentlemen, let's do our part to protect our planet and our wildlife so the future generations to come can enjoy everything we get to today. So it looks like we're approaching the outskirts of the village, and this is typically where we'll be unloading, but you let them go about unload where you loaded at. So you're a little free behind the scenes tour. I said the word free at Disney, but you thought I'd never hear that in your entire life. Now, if you guys are interested in seeing and learning some more about the animal that's on reserve today, or see some more you didn't get to see, make sure you check out Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail once you get down here. Over there, we're going to have some more of those copy. They got another species of zebra. They have the underwater viewing area of the hippo pool, but we're going to see some of those hippos swimming underneath the water, getting cleaned off with a fish like they do. They also have the African bird aviaries, some naked mole rats. They got one of my favorite animals over there, the meerkat. And of course, they have some absolutely beautiful gorillas over there. So make sure to check out Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. And if you guys want to see and learn about some behind the scenes work we do with animals here, like veterinary nutrition care, you can check out Rafiki's Planet Wash. That'll be the train that takes you over to the conservation station. Over there, you might be able to talk to our vets and nutritionists. If you're lucky, you might be able to see them giving an animal checkup in the vet room. Over there, they also have the animation experience where you can learn to draw some of your favorite Disney animated characters. And then my favorite thing over there is the effective section. It's our little petting zoo. You can pet some of those Nigerian dwarf goats you saw, some sheep, pigs, all kinds of fun different farm animals. So make sure you check out Rafiki's Planet Watch. The last train leaves out at 4:30 today. We're about to be docking and unloading very, very shortly, so it's a great time to get y'all stuff together so you don't leave anything behind. Any hats, keys, phones, bags. Children, don't leave children behind. I have 2 at home. I don't need any more, please. And if anybody's have any questions, comments, concerns, anything I'd like to say to me, feel free to come around after we unload. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you do have. And unless you're going to tell me you did a bad job today, then I'll pretend that you weren't there, and I will go home and deal with that later on.